Today's topic of discussion is advanced manipulation tactics. So I see a lot of guys in today's society complaining that women are throwing all these tests at them, they're playing all these manipulation games, and they're just wasting a bunch of their time. So in this video, we're going to be discussing some key manipulation tactics that women are using on guys in today's society and how to effectively navigate it. So first point is stalking. Now I'm going to play this 15-20 second clip of a woman who's blocked a guy and she ends up unblocking him after because she really wants him. So I'll play it now for you guys.
See, a lot of these shorties love the toxicity. They will unblock a guy they really are attached to and really want, no matter what he did, for real. As long as he wasn't simpy wimpy and fiending for it. She'll always complain about him, but they'll always come back together.
Okay, you guys are back now. You've had a watch of it. Now, with that girl in the video, she must have blocked a guy randomly when he wasn't really communicating with her. Now, a lot of people who are watching this, they won't quite understand what's going on. Like, why would a woman block you if she really likes you and she's interested in you? Well, the truth of the matter is, if you're a man who's really working on his purpose and you're actively improving yourself day by day, you're going to value your time. You know, your time is limited in this world. You're not just going to be dishing it out to this woman here and spending hours every single day talking to her. You know, you're going to give it out in small increments. Now, with women, the way that they're filtering guys is through the phone. So, their main manipulation tactic and tool, the main manipulation tool that they're using is the phone. It's the screen, that screen that you got in front of you, that you're watching this video from. They're going to be using that on a day-to-day basis to filter out weak and needy men. Now, a bunch of people are still going to be asleep to this. They're not going to quite understand what's going on here. They're going to be thinking that they're texting a girl, we've been talking on and off for months, and she really likes me. You know, but certain times she's just leading these guys on. Now, how do you know whether or not a woman's leading you on or if she's genuinely serious about you? Well, the truth is, you're going to need several signs and you're going to need to assess her behavior for you to understand whether she's invested in you or she doesn't really care about you. So one of them is stalking. You know, girls who become really obsessive and they are attached to one guy, she's going to be stalking him regularly. You know, so every day, several times in a day, and she's going to be thinking about him for majority of her day. You know, this is where it becomes. Now, some of you guys may be thinking, oh, that's just like unhealthy attachment, and she's just crazy. Well, this is what it is. This is when a girl becomes really obsessed. Certain times it becomes unhealthy obsession because she's not able to express her emotions directly. So what does she resort to? Indirect stalking. So she can be stalking you from her friends' accounts, burner accounts, fake accounts, and testing to see your loyalty towards her. You know, she wants to know that whether or not you're really a man of value and whether or not you've got strong principles and boundaries and you're not going to chase after her. So that's what I've mentioned from my previous videos about setting women conditions. When you set a woman conditions and she complies, she cooperates, and she does the conditions, then that's the time when you know she's actually ready for marriage. But a bunch of these people who are going to be watching this, a bunch of people ain't going to value their self-respect. And then they wonder why women don't want them. Women don't respect them. So it's really important. Your self-respect needs to come first in life. It should always come first in life. Because if it doesn't, woman's just going to walk all over that guy. So next point is unsend. Now let's say you're texting back and forth with a woman and she leaves you unseen, or she's not quite cooperating, or you can sense that this woman here is trying to play games. Your best bet is to unsend your messages. Now, why is it so powerful to unsend your messages? It's because you gave her attention, which is the currency of women. And now with that attention, you've stripped it back. You've stripped it away from them. You've pulled that attention away. Now for some guys who are thinking, oh, that's just petty. If a woman just leaves me unseen, or she doesn't, show the same level of respect, then I'm just going to stop talking to her. Yeah, you can do that. You can stop talking to her and then get caught up in your feelings and try and brush it under the carpet. Or you could condition a woman and teach her. That's what I like to do. Teach these women. So when they learn these life lessons going forward. So anytime a woman shows disrespect, she's not cooperating, she's not complying, she's using her phone to play manipulation tactics, cool, unsend my messages. And then she doesn't know when I'm going to send, let me rephrase that. She doesn't know when I'm going to send the next message. It could be a day, 2 days, a week, 2 weeks, a month. Certain times I leave these girls months on end. They're watching me, they're like, oh, is he going to send a message? It's been like a month, 2 months. Couldn't be bothered to send you a message. So when it comes to even sending messages, what you can do is you can have time slots. So my time is usually between 9 p.m. and 12 a.m. is when I hit out my messages to all the girls that I'm talking to for marriage purposes. So the ones who comply, cooperate, cool, we can have a conversation. The ones who don't comply, cooperate, just unsend my messages. Now, with these women that you guys are going to be dealing with, they want you to invest your time and your emotions into her. That's why these women certain times will play hard to get. It's because they see you as a long-term partner, long-term potential. It's not a short little hookup or somebody who she just wants to spend one night with. And that's why these red pill clowns, they confuse that. They think that a woman who's just fornicating and sleeping around with them, then she really wants them. No, that's not how it works. A man of value has strict principles and boundaries. It won't get to the stage of fornication because he's got strong barriers in place. But he'll keep her at arm's length and get her to cooperate fully and get her to show full respect in order for her to have a relationship with him. That's why we look at the best example, which is Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. We don't look at all these jokers on the internet talking about women and all the low quality women that they're getting. I don't take none of them seriously. Because firstly, they suck with women. Secondly, they overinflate their value. Getting a few promiscuous women on the same page who's showing their cleavage and dirty low quality, that ain't game. But that's what it is. It's that with these videos, the videos that I create, the stuff that I talk about, some people are going to say, this guy here, he doesn't get women, he's just talking rubbish, and don't listen to it. Fine, go ahead. Go find another channel. It don't bother me one bit. More women for me to choose from. That's how I see it. That's the way it is. There's a bunch of wrong information out there on YouTube. Go ahead. These guys can go consume that content. I don't take these lot seriously. These are based off of teachings from the Quran and Sunnah. So that's what it is, for traditional moral values. And then incorporating that into modern day relationships. So one of the tactics is literally unsending your messages. Certain times it needs to be done because of self-respect. Respect is the foundation of all relationships. So next point is friends. Now, these girls here, right, once they're really invested into you emotionally, and they've been thinking about you day in, day out, there's a good chance that they're going to tell their friends. And not just tell their friends, but their friends are going to also be spying on you guys. They're going to be watching you lot. They're trying to figure out weaknesses within your character. Whether you're going to bend or break. Whether you're going to lie and pretend and put on a facade, which 90% of guys are doing nowadays. Bunch of insecure boys. I had this one guy, right? Old Somalian guy. He must have been on one of my TikTok lives. Now at first, right, he was making some points. He was agreeing with my videos. And then after that, he must have just turned on me randomly one day. Because I was dealing with like another set of people on the TikTok. But anyway, long story short, right, he was like, your hair's just all over the place, your beard's not done, and you wear bummy clothing, and you're not going to get women because of this and that. And this is the same guy who was saying to an 18-year-old girl that he's got a third leg. How he's a BLK guy who's got a third leg, which is just complete nonsense. It's BS. When these guys here mention about their size of their thing down there, I know for a fact they got a small little winker. Guys who are secure within themselves down there, they don't need to mention it. It's just like with money. A bunch of these guys, they have to try and flex with their pound coins and their 10, 20 pound notes to think that, oh yeah, we're rich. Real wealth is silent. That's what it is. Real confidence is silence as well. The guys who are loud, you know what the saying is, the loudest one in the room, let me rephrase that. The loudest one in the room is the weakest one in the room. the guy who observes everything, sees everyone's moves. Those are the guys who are well-rounded. You know, they see the game for what it is. So, final point is invest. So as I mentioned to you guys earlier, 2 ways that women are going to get you guys to invest is through your time and emotionally. That's why they'll play hard to get. That's why they'll use time delays. They can stretch these out for several weeks and several months. But they don't realize when they really come across a man of value and they're stretching it out for those periods of time, they're becoming more and more emotionally invested. It becomes more difficult for them to detach from that guy. So that's what it is. You guys are going to need to value your time. You know, try and use it as much as you can on your purpose. Spending it on social media and TikTok and Instagram and all this other BS platforms. You know, that's why I try and literally just post content on there and then just jump off of it. For the past month or so, I was testing out these TikTok lives, which a lot of it was just a waste of time. You know, gaining more followers and gaining more recognition, that don't benefit me one bit. Couldn't care less. You know, people are like to me, oh, you're just jumping on here, you're trying to get famous off of social media. I ain't never tried to get famous. That's never been a goal of mine anyway. It's literally the least of my concerns. So that's what it is when it comes to social media. You literally just produce your content and just jump off of it. Don't consume the filth on there, because it ain't going to benefit you guys. It's just going to strip you of your time. And that's what it is when it comes to the most valuable asset that you guys have. It's your time. So just to wrap up, stalking. Girls love to stalk. Stalking their crush. Now they got all the time in the world for that. Keep thinking about him for hours, days at a time. And then what the crazy part is, the girl could be talking to a guy for several months and potentially years, and then he ends up going with somebody else. You know, that's what it is with certain times. Some of these women, they don't make a move until it's too late. You know, they think that the guy's just going to be there and she's going to be with him. You know, that's why at certain times there aren't any happily ever afters. And the next one after that was unsent. That's what it is with these women who are narcissistic, self-centered, trying to use manipulation tactics. Unsend your messages. Condition them and teach them. You know, they're going to be operating on your time. You're not trying to operate on their time. They can't just get access to you whenever they feel like it. You know, because that's what it is. Certain times they can be quite manipulative on social media. So what you can do is you can just unsend your messages and then block the person for a day, 2 days, a week, 2 weeks or so. And then you just unblock them and then you can send them a message. certain times that needs to be done in order to teach these women, condition them to show respect. Because a lot of these women nowadays, they haven't been taught respect. They haven't been conditioned to show respect. And that's why it's going to be up to you guys to do that. Now, some of you guys are going to be thinking, that's too much headache, that's too much stress, I can't be bothered. Which I get, I understand. You know, because it comes with a lot of work. But that's why it goes back to, it depends what type of girl you're dealing with. If you know you're compatible with this person and you see potential in this person, then it's worth it. But anybody else who you don't see a future with, just stop talking to them. And then the next point after that was friends. So that's what they'll do. They'll get their friends to try and gang up on you. But it's not even like a gang up where they're trying to be direct and hostile. They're trying to just plot and scheme. They're trying to figure out ways to try and gain power over you guys. No, as I said, if you're really a man of value, it ain't gonna faze you one bit. You know, you're gonna set, let's say, your conditions, and then you're not gonna move until those are done. But majority of guys, they're going to collapse. They're going to go weak. They're going to get rid of their conditions. They're going to go back on their word. You know, you guys here can't be doing that. As soon as you've said something and you've said to a woman, I'm going to walk away from this, or I'm going to stop speaking to you, you better mean it. Because a lot of guys, they love to fake it, they love to pretend, they love to just say words for the sake of it. You know? Just a bunch of cowards nowadays. And then the final point was invest. As I mentioned, women are going to get you guys to invest through your time and through emotions. You know, you want to try and limit that as much as you can. You know, as soon as you start investing more and more time and energy and emotions into this, the more it gets devalued. But if you give it out in small little drips, little breadcrumbs, throw it to them, like with the pigeons. Give them little breadcrumbs. They come running over. As soon as you just give it all, they'll just eat it all up and then they'll just run off. You have to give them little crumbs and then just pull that away from them. Because that's what it is, unfortunately. Social media, the phones, technology has destroyed modern day men and women. Both of them. That's why certain tactics like unsending your messages needs to be applied. So I hope that makes sense, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.